Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be. I hope you enjoyed that very sexy trailer for Taiwan season 2020 online symposium connecting with Taiwan, and welcome. My name is Donald Hutera, and I'm your host for this and all of the other 15 sessions that will be happening online throughout August. Every Tuesday, I'll be conducting an informal 45-minute interview, including short film clips, with one of the four choreographers whose work was meant to be presented live in Edinburgh this month. You are free to ask questions throughout this session, and we'll try and deal with them. And as a reminder, every Wednesday and Friday, starting tomorrow, there are two-hour weekly webinar sessions with experts in artistic practice, production, presentation, and programming. For that, you will need to register online for each one that you want to attend. So let's bring out my first guest, my only guest today, Hao Cheng of Incandescence Dance. He's the artistic director. He is also the creator, choreographer, and performer of the 30-minute solo Touchdown that premiered in Taiwan last October. Hao Cheng, please join me on stage.
Hello, everyone, and Donald. I'm Hao Cheng, and very glad to be here with everyone.
And I see that you have you're in your living room. I'm in my kitchen. This is really relaxed.
Yes, this is a cozy place.
So to start off, I'd like to know about your transition from physics and science into dance and performance making, because that's quite a big leap. Can you say a few words about that, please?
Yes. Before I start dancing, I studied mathematics, and later I went to graduate school of dance choreography. The reason is I want to balance myself. When I was a kid, I was studying, talking, asking questions. I don't do sport, and discuss with everyone the question like philosophy. What's the meaning of life? Should we suicide? So I think too much, and I feel too less. One day, I think it's around like 17 years old, I suddenly realized I think I know my mind very well, but I don't know nothing about my flesh. But mankind are made of these two things together. And I realized that I didn't know the other half of myself. So I decided I have to deal with this issue. So I start dancing.
And where did you go to dance? Where did you train? And what kind of dancing did you train in?
Mostly contemporary dance and a little bit modern, some ballet and improvisation. I study in TNUA, Taipei National University of the Arts, and I studied a Master of Dance Choreography. Before that, I have few years, like 4 or 5, taking some class in the weekend, and years by years, and realize I want to do this thing. I want to give it a try.
Okay.
So I just give it a try.
So having that background in mathematics and science, et cetera, what kind of influence did that have on the work you were making or were thinking you were going to be making?
Yes, I think the influence is the way of thinking, because I'm really good at analyze, classify things, and that's kind of a different kind of imagination. Truly art people. Yeah. So it's also very abstract things in my mind, and I can see the romantic part of science, of mathematics, but it's still kind of different to the dance people or painter or dancer, choreographer, musicians. So it does helps in some ways, like when I build structures of a piece, or I'm really good at calculation and tech. Once I did a solo with a pool of 3 tons of warm water, and just a glance, I realized that there's 1 centimeter water is missing, and there's about like 100 liters, and how much time I need to heat, how much time I need to supply it, all came in a few seconds. I don't even have to think. So also, now I want to bring some ideas of general science and try to transform it to my creation making.
So you've talked about the kind of duality or holistic mind-body. You've mentioned abstraction and romanticism.
Yes.
I'm just wondering about the parallels between dance and art making and science. Are there parallels rather than divisions?
The answer of mine is yes. Try this. Go to a dance class, and you will talk. The teacher is always saying the direction, the gravity, dynamic, momentum, energy. All these are physics and also dance. So it might not that divided to as our first reaction. The more important thing is the pure part and the romantic part. The pure part is maybe like abstract. Yeah. For example, dance, you can see point, line, surface, counterpoint, formation. And in physics, there's mathematics, theory, formula, equation. And the romantic part in dance is like feeling, emotion, desire, or there's some drive you want to express or you want to, And physics, the romantic part of physics is more hidden behind. Think about Newton's first law in motion. If you take all the mathematic parts away, you forget what force equals to mass multiply acceleration. The first law is saying if you don't have other force to change your state, you will keep your state. So it's exactly the way we live. If I don't want to do something, if there's no drive, I won't change. So I always capture these kind of things in general science or in mathematics. So they are never cold to me. I feel the same way when I study mathematics and I dance. And the last part, I may just offer two words: mystery and poetic.
I think what you've done is you've given a very good summation of the romance of both dance and physics. So thank you for that. Now, I have another question for you, which is, you've made this solo called Touchdown, which addresses many of the issues you've just talked about. But what is it like to be inside that dance on stage?
Yes. To answer that question, I would like to play a 3 minutes video first. It might show something, and after the video played, I will answer more about it.
Good.
So please play the video. Thanks.
所以，1913年，丹麦物理学家波尔提出了一个非常重要的想法，叫做能接，能量能接替的接。他说，电子绕着原子核转的时候，这个轨道其实是有分阶的。当它往下坠落一层轨道的时候，它就会释放能量，而且这个能量会以光子的形式放射出来。想想看啊，这意思就是坠落的时候不发光。
Well, there you are on a platform with chalk, a chalkboard platform. And so that's the setup. That's the physical setup. And there's a struggle going on. You're making these traces rather violently. So what I'd like to know is what factors, both personal and aesthetic, influence the creation of Touchdown?
Basically, my youth life experience. Because this is kind of autobiography. Yeah, there was a time I was cracked, and I lose all the energy to get up. So I decided to do this piece, with never physically never standing up. And then some ideas came into my mind. Yeah, I think about some ideas in quantum physics, and there are two ideas exactly I can transform as a metaphor. So as you can see, there was a chalkboard and there was chalks because I was all doing these things before I started dancing. And there's also lines, so a bit drama. So it is kind of a hybrid of contemporary dance, drama, and general science. So this is all the experience of mine. So yeah, this how this something, this all the things that influence me. Also, there's a very important feelings I want to share, and this is one of my dream. Yeah. Let me start with the story of greatest physicist, Richard Feynman. Once he has a conversation with his great friend. He was a painter, and they were walking on the beach. And the painter said, like you physics are all boring, because once you look at a sand, you are thinking about the atoms, the electrons, all the structure inside. You don't feel the beauty. And Feynman answered, no, I'm a human as you, so definitely I can feel the beauty. But besides that, I can feel the beauty of the structure. I can imagine the all the mechanics inside, and when I look into the sky, I can see the light is coming from maybe 100 years, 100 years ago, million years ago. So that brings a different kind of feelings. This idea is a basic of why and how I want to create touchdown like this. I want to share this hybrid feeling.
And I'm curious, what kind of thoughts or feelings do you want to draw from viewers, from spectators? Because you've expressed very beautifully what's going on inside you as someone who can get excited about structure, which I do understand that, though I'm not a scientist. But what do you want the audience to feel or think? How did that influence the creation?
Yes, I still I want touchdown be everyone can get some feelings about it. If you want to see dance, you want to see emotion, pain, suffering, struggle, and sublimation, comfort. I did do it in the piece. I danced it, but also I still want to share the sense of the beauty of reason, just like Feynman's conversation with his painter friend. If you can also feel these two kind of beauty together, then it will become something else. To me, it's a very high experience, a little bit transcendental, because I can feel all the emotion things, but also I can feel the beauty of reason, also in a emotional way. So I don't know, it's just a complicated, but it tastes so good. I want to share these things to my audience.
Why did you call it touchdown?
Because first, First reason, because I stay really low all the time. I don't really stand up. And touchdown is a terminology of American football. I found it very interesting because touchdown means a successful score, but it was always like boom on the floor. No other sports is a successful score is to fall down. So I think it represents the struggle, but also success. I just this name just someday it came into my mind, and I found it so interesting, so I decided to use it.
So you pack a lot into a 30-minute solo, don't you? Because someone has asked how long is the piece. It's 30 minutes long. Did you know when you started it? Did you have the idea, oh, I'm going to make 30 minutes, or was that time, that length, organic?
The structure is organic, but because it was a mixed program of 3 pieces commissioned by National Theatre, so we are going to do a 20 to 30 minutes piece. But during the process, as I a break, and first the movement, I decided I have to stay really, really low, and I don't want to stand up. And after that, I think about the chalk and the chalkboard, so I can draw circles to self-present myself, to echo how I felt during the crack time. Also, I can write the formula. So as you can see, the last part of the first video, actually all the things I'm writing down on the diagonal is an equation. Yeah, so the length is decided, but the concept is very organic.
Okay. I haven't seen the show live, but I have watched the full video of it. And what I was struck with is that what we're left with at the end, after you are not there, is a kind of artwork. It's a visual installation. It's traces that you have left behind of your being cracked and struggling and success. It's quite a visual impression that it leaves. So just wanted to say that. But how does this work grow out of the previous work that you made? Are there links to the other work that existed before Touchdown?
Yes, I did several solo works before I did Touchdown since 2016. And the first is called Falling Behind the Pig. It is also a bit autobiography, and I use some lines about math inside it. Also, there's a lot of flow works. And the third one is more care about the style of how I move. And I realized that the flow work is one thing I really interested in. And also the dynamics. How do we exchange the energy, or how do we transfer our way so we can move? So yes, I think that the skills and the themes are grow from that several solo works.
Now, I see there's a question from Gary Platt, who says, I often use the concept of golden ratios and the Fibonacci spiral in my photography. Do you think these mathematical concepts can have a role to play in dance and its visual presentation? Very good question, Gary. Thank you.
Yes, it is a good question, and absolutely. Sorry. I was thinking about like fracture, like the mountain and the rocks. Their shape are very similar in different scales. Also, I have an idea about a square, very big square, but it was combined by like 30 squares, all in different lengths, so they can build a big square. So there are many things inside mathematics, visually or conceptually. When I touch on is my start to really go for it, to transform the general science or mathematics concept into the dance. So once I change my mindset to this and I can do something more just than dance, tons of ideas came into my mind. So yeah, I definitely believe it.
Hao Cheng, what do you think your place in Taiwan's dance ecology is, or indeed in global dance ecology? Do you ever think about what your role or your place is in that sphere of social creation, let's call it? If you want to think of art as social creation.
Yes. I think both locally in Taiwan or globally, I would like to be the bridge of two realms. Let's say science and arts or humanity. Because I always feel the beauty and poetic in two realms, but I found out, especially in Taiwan, if you study science, you study mathematics, you study engineering, you don't know nothing about art. And otherwise, it's vice versa, is the same. So, but these two things is so excited and important to myself, and I would like to tell everyone they are not aparted, they are actually complete. They share the same truth and they complete each other. And so I decided to, after touchdown, I decided I will keep create this kind of hybrid creation, and maybe dance, maybe theater, or maybe, I don't know, anything I could put inside. Maybe a little bit like lecture performance, maybe. But I want to do something that can express this kind of mixture feelings. And also, I think I could be that's why I think I could be the bridge, a nut point, to make everyone understand, yeah, there's another word, and they are not that different from us.
Just wanted to tell you that I have an accountant who loves the arts. And I remember how happy I was that he could be an accountant and deal with numbers and all of that very, to me, dry stuff. But he also was he loved music, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that you said two words quite a few times. I think for me, my understanding of you, these are very key words for you. hybrid or hybridity, and transformation. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you.
There is a question. Will your works grow into a trilogy? Are you thinking in terms of any kind of trilogy?
Wow, this is a brilliant audience. Thank you very much, because I do think about it. I think the next one will be spatial theory of relativity from Einstein, 1905, and it's about time. How the time going, like all the science fiction movie. You know that time travel or time goes slower, and I would like to do a piece about time, but not in just getting age. So the scale would be like millions years, not just our maybe 70, 80 years of getting old. Or I think it would be excited because it doesn't need difficult math to understand. Actually, the high school math, you can understand the basic idea of why time can how do you say that?
Be elastic.
Yeah, elastic.
Time can stretch.
Yes, and also the work before touchdown is called what is called all the conditions of momentum. So it's kind of about Newton's classical mechanics. It's a group dance, but maybe someday I will re-choreograph it, so you can see the classical physics and two parts of the modern physics.
Okay, we have Gary says elongate, elasticate, things like words like that. You know how time can stretch. Another question for you. When you fall, spin, and roll on the ground, you rely on your right hand side very much. How do you avoid repeating yourself in that grounding limitation? So landing on your right a lot, is that, how conscious are you of that right hand side? How dominant is the right hand side?
I think every dancer has habit. Yeah, I sometimes it's because of the limitation of some movement I want to do, and I can do it better with my right side. And sometimes it's about the direction, because I want to go travel the diagonal, and I want to keep my chalk. My writing, I'm right-handed, obviously, so make the audience can see it clearly. Yeah.
So it would be interesting then if you are right-handed and you favor the right side.
Yes.
To focus on the left side and just see what results. To keep yourself surprised. Although I suspect you surprise yourself regularly when you're making work.
Yes. And to provide some surprise, no matter to the audience or to myself, is very important. And just a little words about the right and left. Also, I think about maybe a piece about right and left, because there was a theory that physics always think the world is symmetry. If you have right spin, you have left spin, but in some very deep structure of atoms, they are, in one word, the God is right-handed. So there's no left-handed part of a very deep structure, and it's also very funny. Maybe someday I'll try it.
Good. Now, this is a sort of someday question.
Okay.
What are some of the things you most want or need to carry your work forward, both creatively and practically?
Yes, I think creatively, first is the development of uniqueness, because I want to mix these things together, but I think Touchdown is just a start. I still need to dig more to find more forms or ways to express different ideas together. If I need lines, I will use lines. If I need dance, I will dance. If I need to be a teacher and really explain something, I will. But all these things takes more experience and time. I need some time to build it to be my style, and I think this part I can do more research, maybe with a dramaturge. And Touchdown has a dramaturge. She helps a lot. And also practically, I think marketing and learn the international circumstance is really important to me, because I'm not that familiar with this, but I'm really open and excited to learn about it.
Are you interested in possible future international collaborations?
Yes.
With anyone who might have an interesting idea that catches you?
For now, I didn't have a certain specific names, but I'm really open to any chance.
Okay. There's a question from Gary again. What is the universal constant in dance? He says Einstein said that the speed of light was the only universal constant.
That's a big question. Yeah, because I knew some new progress about his universal constant. There was a time Einstein think his theory might be wrong, and he first wrote his equation with universal constant, and later he took it off in many years later before he died. And he think it's a mistake of him. But recently, I think the physics are their new progress is maybe to put it back. It will be the new understanding progress of our universe right now. I don't really know that much about that, but I'm still very excited. If I want to really do that special relativity, I will do more. I will do a lot of research.
Final question, because we're slowly running out of time. What is your, and you have sort of answered this already. What is your philosophy of life, And is it the same or different from your philosophy of dance?
Yes. By getting aged, I thought there were two answers, but it seems to become one. So it is let go and to know the flow. Because to let go is so important in dance. You have to know the gravity, you have to know the gravities, then you can play with it. You can't against it. You can't against the flow or force or gravity, something anything like that. You have to deal with it. Sometimes you can hit it in the face. You have to flee to the side. So to me, to be transparent is really important, because all the things are energy exchange. While we are dancing or we are living, talking to anyone, they are energy exchanging. But to make it really, really clear, you have to be transparent. You have to unblock all the things that inside you, so you can let the momentum or dynamic go through you and pass out. I think that is the most important things to me in dance and also to life. So in the end, I would like to share some inspirational quotes. I love it very much. There are two sorts of truth. First sort is so obviously true, so you can obviously see the opposite is wrong. The second sort is the deepest truth. The opposite is also the deepest truth. That is how I feel now about dance and life. Everything shares the same truth. Now, I would like to introduce the second video of Touchdown, please.
然后波尔说，核心在于波粒二重性。电子鸡是波，也是粒子，所以它有时候是这样子跑，有时候是那样子跑。它并不是没有逻辑，而是它容纳了不止一个逻辑。可能吗？一个东西怎么可能同时是另一个东西？海浪怎么可能同时是沙粒？未完成怎么可能同时是完成？知道怎么可能同时是不知道？失去怎么可能同时又是得到？可能。
It's raining chalk. I love the sound of that. Listen, we've run out of time, but I just wanted to say it's been an absolute pleasure to exchange energy with you, even in this peculiar, flat, distant space that we're occupying now. And thank you, audience, wherever and whoever you may be, for joining us. We've been recording this live, but it will be repeated on Thursday and available after that for future reference, future research. And I'd also like to remind you that tomorrow is the first of our Wednesday webinars, the first part of this week's theme, which is the present and future of Taiwan arts and culture centers, trends and international cooperation. That's at 1 p.m. British time, starting tomorrow, and you need to register. So best of luck. Ideally, Touchdown will be coming to Edinburgh next year and be seen in many places around the world in the future. And again, it's been such a deep, true joy to be with you, Hao Cheng.
Yeah, me too, Donald. Thank you very much.
And thank you, everyone. Stay safe, be creative, thrive. See you again.
Cool. 好，我看了。